Hi, this is Lee Giles from Easy Peasy LON Homeschool. Here to tell you another story. The next few stories I'm going to tell are about my youngest son, what we've been through with his. I'll tell you a story. um, I had two children born in Turkey. They were both born prematurely. The first one was born 7 weeks early. But that was actually an answer to prayer. We had just arrived in the country, and I just felt like I was having a really hard time with the pregnancy. Overseas, we were in a city. We walked to the grocery store, and I teased it was uphill both ways, but it was true. We had to walk uphill both ways, and you're carrying all the groceries and walking up the steps to our apartment. Just a couple, walking up the flights of stairs to get to our apartment, and um, being really pregnant. It was just hard and unpacking and just feeling like my body couldn't do it, and just prayed, Lord, if the baby can be healthy, just let him be early. And it might have been the next day, I'm not quite sure. I went into labor, and it was our 5th day in the country. So I hadn't been to the doctor yet. We didn't have any living room furniture. We had beds. Um, we didn't have a phone. We didn't have our internet set up yet. But was able to get someone to take us to the hospital, and ended up having this wonderful woman doctor who spoke English. I didn't know at the time how rare and beautiful this was, that I had this great doctor who was supportive of natural childbirth, and just super unusual, which I didn't know at the time, and was able to just have natural childbirth, and we went home the next day. We were only in the hospital, 24 hours, whatever. We went in one day and came back the next day. Doctor's like, there's nothing wrong with him. We can't find any reason to keep him here. So we went home, and they asked us to bring him back just to check his weight. Since he was a preemie, make sure he's eating okay. We went back, every day that week, which was hard and a pain, but we did that, just to show that he was gaining weight and doing okay eating. And he was fine. And he was 6 months old. He was sitting up. He wasn't delayed at all for being, a preemie. It's 7 weeks early. The next one was born 11 weeks early. And it was a different experience. My placenta started falling out. I had been to the doctor, and they didn't say anything was wrong about it, the placement of my placenta. So something happened. But I had chunks of placenta fall out of me. So I thought, I guess it's time to go to the hospital. We actually walked there. It was sort of across the street. And they're like, you have to have the baby. They didn't even have a NICU unit there. I had to be transported by ambulance to another hospital. Told me I had to have a C-section, which I guess I did. I don't know. I wasn't in labor, but they're like, you're bleeding. It wasn't an emergency C-section. It happened 4 hours later or something. So after having natural childbirth 5 times and using midwives and stuff like that, even giving birth at home once, I had a C-section. And then the next day, the doctor and pediatrician came in, and I asked them for a breast pump, and they said, no, he's never going to eat. You don't need one. And I was like, what? And it was explained to me they were trying to say he wasn't going to live. And I told my husband to go buy the most expensive breast pump he could find. Just the best thing he can find. And he was home with our kids, which is where he needed to be. So I'd lie there in the hospital bed that night alone, just saying over and over again, you will live and not die, you will live and not die, you will live and not die. And of course, he's 7 years old now. He didn't die. And then later, when he was in intensive care that first week, they told us he had a hole in his heart and he would have to have surgery. But then it went away and he didn't have to have that surgery. But then later he had a brain bleed, which they didn't even have a machine to scan his brain. They had to transfer him, after they saw symptoms of it, they had to transfer him to another hospital to do a scan, to see what's going on, to see that it was having a brain bleed, and then delayed surgery, which would have been like immediate in America. Delayed surgery for 3 days while they waited for a part to come from Istanbul, because we were in another city, that Gaziantep city. So it just, got delayed, and so the bleeding got worse, damaging his brain more and more, to the point where it was described as severe brain damage. So I'm going to tell you more of his story over the next couple days, and the miracles that have been done for him. And I'll continue then.